Namaskar, hello and welcome to CIET NCERT's special live phone-in program, and this is a series on digital initiatives in education by various states or UTs or autonomous organization. Today is Monday and we take up these digital initiatives by one of these places, either by a state or UT or autonomous organization. And today we're going to the experts from Meghalaya. And they're going to talk about all the digital initiatives they have taken from their state. So this would be a wonderful discussion. If you want to participate in this program, then please feel free to call us on our number, which is 8800440559. And if you want to email us your questions regarding the same, the email ID would be training.helpdesk@ciet.nic.in. My name is Tanvi Khurana, and this program is for all the 6th class students to 12th class students, and anyone can watch this program. We are live at this moment on PM eVidya channel number 6 to channel number 12, and also on our YouTube channel, which is NCERT Official. In the live chat box also, you can write down your questions, queries, and share them with us. Anything you want to ask regarding the digital initiatives taken by the state Meghalaya. We have two experts with us from Meghalaya, of course. So let me introduce you to both of them. We have with us Mr. Ashim Dey. Welcome, sir.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
Thank you, sir, to you too. Sir is an assistant teacher from Shillong Jail Road, Boys Higher Secondary School, Meghalaya. And along with him, we have with us Mrs. Eleanor Michelle Lengua. Welcome, ma'am.
Thank you.
Good afternoon to you too, ma'am. And ma'am is an assistant lecturer from Mairang Presbyterian Higher Secondary School, Meghalaya. So I welcome both our experts in this program and for this discussion. Thank you so much for giving us your time. So let's begin this discussion, and I would like to ask ma'am first. Ma'am, what are the digital initiatives you are going to inform us about and inform our viewers about?
Thank you. So before we go to the initiatives, we need to talk about Meghalaya. And here is just a little bit about Meghalaya and the education scenario in the state before today. So Meghalaya was born in the year 1972 with Shillong as its capital. During the British Raj, the region witnessed educational upliftment, which was primarily focused in the urban areas, and this was mostly done by missionaries. Since then, education percolated deep into the far-flung areas, gradually with the initiatives adopted by the government from time to time. In spite of the efforts, there are areas, pockets, where basic amenities are hard to reach even today. The students from these far-flung areas travel to headquarters for higher education. Going by the syllabi adopted by the State Education Board, IT was introduced at a much later stage. However, in the capital region, parallel support systems enable the local populace to interact with the advancement in the communication technology. This propelled them to compete with the rest of the world decently. But the demands for upgradation of the rural population in line with the modest IT skills has become a priority. Unfortunately, private players hesitate to venture in the rural areas due to lack of rewards. In this perspective, it is important to have a glance through the inhabitants of Meghalaya. The state is composed predominantly tribal population with firm traditional belief systems. People share a close bond with nature and community dynamics. The terrain is rugged, and there are areas which are partially inaccessible in terms of communication and connectivity. This, works as a deterrent to the ambitious project of bringing the region under the digital map. The usual solutions adopted by other states for digital transformations could not be applied to the state due to the reasons mentioned. Yet, the stakeholders are working relentlessly to expedite the process of transformation. However, Meghalaya has been able to overcome all the odds. Today, referring to the statistics, we have a total number of 14,694 schools. The enrollment, as we can see in the lower primary, the upper primary, the secondary, and the higher secondary, we have a grand total of 9,58,496. As far as teachers are concerned, in all of the different sections of school, we have 55,646 teachers. So this is the scenario for starters. If you talk about initiatives, we will come to that. Sir Rashim will help us with that.
Thank you, Mrs. Lingua. So talking about those transformations which were initiated in the state, to begin with, I'd like to mention a very ambitious project by the government, particularly from the Education Department, was called SHCDM. This project supporting human capital development in Meghalaya. It aims to improve the level of employability in the state through better quality education as well as vocational training. So under this capital development project in the state, the emphasis was given to education, to agriculture, to vocational training, even to the allied fields where youths can find themselves in a position so that they have the opportunity to upgrade their skills and are suitably employed in the state and outside as well. This project had two broad objectives. Talking about those objectives, the first objective was to improve quality and delivery of state's secondary and higher secondary education by way of improved infrastructure, upskilling of teachers, and improved learning methods. Second objective of the project was to enhance the employability of youth by focusing on skill development programs, enhanced vocational and technical training. So with this objective, this project was launched in the state way back. In this regard, the government was committed to make aided schools. So I would like to tell our viewers that in our state, we have schools which are run by school managing committees or local bodies, but supported by the government. And these schools are called aided schools. The government was very keen to help these aided schools to make them worthwhile proposition in the state and as a part of larger program in the educational scenario. Under this capital development project, the government had made provision, very important provisions for training secondary and higher secondary teachers to improve the teaching and learning standards, particularly in government-aided schools. To support this initiative, a consortium led by IPE Global Limited was assigned the task. So they were the sole designer as well as the they delivered professional development training and programs for teachers in the state, spanning over years. The modules aimed to address the skill gaps and identify ways to accelerate progress that are sustainable and which led to expanded capabilities of teachers, indicated by higher order and critical thinking and linked to educational achievement and attainment of students. IPE Global, during their training programs, they tried to, inculcate a behavioral change in the teachers, teacher trainees, to come out of their conventional classroom and think in line of experiential learning. Okay, so that was for the first time teachers in the state were introduced to experiential learning on a mass scale. They were taught to develop lesson plans as well as unit plans in line with learning outcomes, objective-based lesson plans. They were trained to adopt innovative ways of teaching in the classroom, of course supported by ICT tools. And we are very glad to tell you that this is we are the first state to capitalize on these measures. We got the responses. We did an extensive study on the school management and have come up with the remedial plan. So during the implementation of those projects, around 3,500 secondary as well as higher secondary teachers were trained, which included head teachers of various schools. And the aim was to strengthen their core competencies to become confident, reflective practitioners in their roles, leading to better quality of education and enhanced prospects of student employability. See, the entire project revolved around, to develop a school ecosystem where, everyone takes keen interest to participate in the process. And it is possible only because of the intervention of ICT in education. Over 1 lakh students have indirectly been benefited from the project through effective school environment, responsive to the diversity among young people, and a culture of self-reflection and upgradation through communities of learning with suitable use of ICT via mobile applications. During the project, the teachers were trained, to use or use different apps in normal classroom situation for transacting lessons. They use these apps as a teaching learning materials. So Mrs. Lingua is going to tell us more about this next initiative taken by the state.
Thank you, Sir Rashim. So, in line with supporting human capital development in Meghalaya, the state launched the Meghalaya School Improvement Program. It is a state flagship program, and it is a collaborative intervention of the DIESEL, the DERT, and the SSA. Now, this program is aimed at school improvement with a focus on improving students' learning and overall performance. MSIP also functions as a complementary program for the National Program for School Standards and Evaluation, the NPSSE, the Shalasidi. Everybody knows about the Shalasidi, I hope. And this is one initiative that the state has taken. So, a little bit about the MSIP, the objectives. The objectives of the MSIP are, as we see in the slide here, there are 7 objectives. One is to enhance the achievement of all students, to improve the quality of teaching and learning so that a large number of students achieve proficiency in core academic subjects and core scholastic areas. The third one is to encourage stakeholders such as principals, SMC members, teachers to take up change agent roles. Number 4, to document and communicate the events of the school to the school community and the youth. The 5th is to encourage accountability among school stakeholders and The sixth one is to enable schools to track, review, and revise the implementation of the SIPs. The seventh one is to recognize that meaningful change occurs incrementally. So these are the objectives of the MSIP. And the MSIP has several target areas. Can we see that, Sir Rashim? Yeah. So the focus of the MSIP is on professional learning community, teaching and learning, continuous and comprehensive assessment, curriculum and learning outcomes, learning environment, community linkages, breaking learning barriers. So these are the target areas of the MSIP. Now, the MSIP has enabled all stakeholders to come together, breaking all barriers, to work for the upliftment of the education scenario in the state. One of the important initiatives of MSIP is the constitution of working groups. These working groups are responsible for the actual implementation and rolling out of the MSIP, the program. So, information, communications technology, ICT, this is what brings it all together. Given the number of districts spread out across the state, coordination would have been impossible had it not been for digital technology, the intervention of digital technology. So in 2020, the Education Department developed the MSIP web portal for sharing best practices, best SIPs, and testimonials. We have them all in the slides here. Can you go on? Yes. Now this is the implemented pictures of how the MSIP program has been carried out. We have capacity building training on preparation of SIP at the state level, the cluster level. We have all these groups, working together. In the next slide, we have capacity building training on preparation of SIP, School Improvement Plan. This is at the school level. In the next slide, we have at the state level. We have another slide. Now this is the MSIP web portal. Now the Education Department came up with the MSIP web portal. This portal is for sharing best practices, best SIPs, and testimonials. This is one of the digital initiatives undertaken by the state, and this was done in 2020. The MSIP app also was created. That's in the next slide. This is the MSIP app. It was created to document best practices and to schedule school visits by visiting DRG members. So these are some of the initiatives that have been taken up by the state. And we have yet another one. That is the Teacher Information Management System, TIMS. Yes? This is another digital initiative. It is a project launched by the Department of Education. It is a centrally hosted web-based application containing teachers' information like date of appointment, posting, grade level, salary and other compensations, details about promotion, transfer and retirement, etc. This is made available through a dedicated central database, and it can be accessed anytime, anywhere, through any device or interface. TIMS is also used as a tool wherein important information and data of teachers in schools can be obtained at just a click, since it is a web-based application where access can be granted from anywhere. Important auto reports and dashboards can also be generated at all levels of the education department, thus making TIMS an integral part of the department's effort towards e-governance, which will ultimately play an important role in attaining efficient and good governance. Currently, the department is rolling out the Teacher Self-Assessment Program, a self-evaluation rubric which will be uploaded on the TIMS by the teacher. So these are the key achievements from the TIMS. And in the next slide, we have, this is the portal, the actual portal. When you open the portal, when you log in, when the teacher logs in, we have all of these icons there, which can be clicked on and opened for all of the information that has been uploaded there. So this is one particular slot here, self-evaluation. This is where teachers upload their findings after they have gone through the rubric exercise. So this is another initiative taken up by the states. Now, over to you, Sir Rashim, to continue with this.
Thank you, ma'am. So, as we learned from Mrs. Lingma that along with MSIP, another system of taking teachers' information in the form of teams. Now, in the state, Diksha was launched in 2019. As we all know, Diksha is a project, digital infrastructure for knowledge sharing. It was launched in the state in the year 2019. After its launch in the state, it provided teachers, teachers and learners as well as parents and educators a platform to access reliable and quality digital content towards enhancing teaching and learning outcomes. Further, it also helped educators a gateway to their professional advancement in the form of various CPDs through the various modular courses on offer and for creating and sharing useful digital content. So after the journey of Diksha began in the state, there were a series of training programs conducted in the state capital to train teachers and create a pool of resource persons who would take up the role of carry forward Diksha in time and years to come. During those training programs, a core team was created and they were trained at the same time regarding the Diksha interface, how to use the app, how to upload contents in the portal, how to generate the do-IDs for the e-content that are created by the teachers from various corners of the state. So, as of now, the state could train 178 teachers as as skilled teachers who have all the know-how as to how to go about uplinking, uploading contents in the Diksha portal. The process slowed down a bit due to the lockdown that we had to restrict ourselves. We could not, actually expand the way we should have done it after its launch. But never mind, we could manage, to reach to different teachers through online platforms. Several Zoom meetings, web seminars were conducted to reach out to teachers, train them, educate them to how to use Diksha, so that in return they can contribute for the upliftment of the educational scenario in the state. So far, the state has created around 51 ETBs energized textbooks. And the number of contents that are linked to these energized textbooks stands at 547. The total number of QR codes that are generated for the books stands at 647. And to our satisfaction, just after the start, we have around 1,54,485 views of these contents so far. The books that were converted to ETVs, they are prescribed books by the state board called Meghalaya Board of School Education. So according to the Meghalaya Board of School syllabus, whatever books are prescribed, the Diksha core team, along with the nodal officer, we are trying to convert all these textbooks into ETVs, where QR codes are generated for them. And we also have initiated, to publish contents in the regional languages as well. Initially, the contents that were created, the medium of instruction was English, but slowly these contents were translated into local languages like Khasi, Garo, etc. In connection to strengthen Diksha and expand its horizon in the state, several workshops were conducted to train teachers so as to develop e-content for coherent access. So these teachers were trained in line of creating e-content following the guidelines set by NCERT, and which these e-contents are going to be used as open educational resources, and at the same time these resources can be used as a coherent access for other applications which are already in place in the state, which you will know from Mrs. Lingua after I finish this. So during these training programs, we try to cover all the districts. We try to call representative teachers from all the districts and could train them so that they learn the method, the techniques, the know-how as to how to develop e-content for the energized textbooks. Following that, the state also saw launch of NISTA training programs. So far, NISTA training programs were rolled out in 3 different stages: NISTA 1.0, NISTA 2.0, as well as NISTA 3.0. So the target trainees were teachers mostly from government schools. The education department set a target of around 7,207 teachers from secondary section, 19,426 teachers from primary section, and 24,006 teachers from the elementary schools. The courses vary from 15 days to some 30 days. Okay. NISTA 2.0 was rolled out in the month of October 2021, and it ended in the month of December 2021. So far in the state, 5 batches were created, 1 for elementary, 2 batches each for primary and secondary. And the enrollment so far in the elementary section witnessed 22,417 teachers out of the target of 24,006 teachers. The state could achieve enrollment for secondary section, which stands at 6,673. Enrollment for primary teachers, 6,888. Now, the completion of these training programs by individual teachers, it varied from modules to modules. The numbers are not fixed. At an average, the completion for elementary level was 20,000, secondary was 4,381, and completion of primary section was 2,098 teachers. So here we have a testimonial by one of a teacher who was greatly benefited by the NISTA training programs rolled out in the state.
Hello everyone, my name is Batlari Tiling Donovan and I am the headmistress of School Umsning Town Dorbar Secondary School, Umsning. I would like to say few things regarding Nishtha training. I have gained this training a few years back, like 2 years back, and I have gained so much of experience through this training. This training has taught me so many things that we never adopted in a school before. But since we got this training, I think this training has been truly helpful. This training has helped me in adopting, the different styles of teaching to the students. Like we include the special children in the school. We have to include those students in the schools, and at the same time, we have adopted this stress-based learning. That means the curriculum base is not much more, but activity-based learning has been taught to us and has been given to us so that we can develop in the school surrounding and within the students also. So it is mostly like activity-based learning, so I kind of like it, and I have gained much more experience from this Nishtha, and I love it, and I think I prefer everyone to do it. Please kindly join this Nishtha and do all this training and complete your model so that you can become an effective teacher and can prosper much in the school education. I think that's all. Thank you.
So, one of our teacher who was trained during the Nishtha program, it was in general observed that the whole perspective of teachers, got a shift, towards betterment. Okay. As Mrs. Lingma was pointing out that, like initially, like there are cases where we find students have to travel to headquarters, to attain higher education.
Yeah.
Yes. So in this perspective, I would like to mention here that the infrastructure is developing, but it will take its own course. Now, to augment or rather to expedite the process of developing human skilled force here in the state, these training programs are of great importance and help. Students have really benefited from such a school ecosystem. Basically, I would like to mention here is that teachers nowadays have become an agent for change in the state through these initiatives that are being rolled out in the state, of course supported by ICT tools. So we are agents for change. We are simply agents for change, which are taking education to next level, in line with the proposed national education policy, which talks about experiential learning, value-based learning, etc. During the lockdown period, the education department collaborated with All India Radio and aired educational programs on subjects like science, mathematics, social science, English, etc. for classes 1 to 10. And this program were broadcasted every Saturday for the students. One benefit was that students from far-flung areas who missed out somehow the distance mode of learning due to want of Android phones or a smartphone, they could reap the benefit of All India Radio programs. And somehow the teacher could connect to the students during the lockdown. Simultaneously, live classes by the teachers were transmitted to reach out to the remotest corner of the state to help the students to continue their education through distance mode of learning during the lockdown, during the adverse time that we have faced. Teachers were, desperate to connect to students. We very well understood the learning gaps that was being created due to the lockdown. We were worried about their well-being. So teachers really tried to mitigate these problems, these challenges, and somehow had a breakthrough to reach out to the students by using WhatsApp. Even recorded videos were uploaded, All India Radio, Doordarshan Kendra programs. So all these programs somehow could connect, could keep the students in the track. Apart from this, the community also played a very important role to propel, the students' learning during those lockdown periods. One such example is, I would like to mention here about CR Schools. CR Schools. It is an Android app-based application. It is an interactive application designed particularly for the students. And a number of schools enrolled themselves in CR Schools. Using this platform, students could be monitored regularly. Assignments can be transferred to them or assigned to them. Study materials could be uploaded. Even students could upload their feedback on the assignments that they have received. And the response was pretty good. Students were really responding to this kind of initiatives. Another example stands as eScholar by Nice Infotech. This is also an app-based application, Android app-based application. It was mostly designed keeping in mind the distance education mode of kind of platform to transact teaching learning materials. Teachers from various corners of the state created, developed e-contents for the students, and these contents were mostly made on the prescribed syllabus designed by the Meghalaya Board of School Education. These e-contents were uploaded in the portal, and students could access those contents as and when they have the opportunity or they have the necessary infrastructure to connect to them. This is how things kept rolling during the pandemic. Another ambitious project by the state was launched in the form of MLEAD, which stands for Meghalaya Learning Enrichment for Academic Development. Again, this is an app-based application. This is an application, Android app-based application. This was created mostly for PLCs, professional learning communities, and for teacher networking. The education department realized the fact that the barrier that existed between the department and the teachers who are teaching at the grassroots level, that barrier has to break at some point for effective delivery of teaching learning materials or transacting the curriculum at any level. Because of these initiatives, the department saw a breakthrough in eliminating these kind of barriers, and the result is just in front of you all. We teachers are presenting this session today. Okay, that is a good example that barrier does not exist anymore between the policymakers and we teachers. The MLEAD is an ambitious project of the state. It will be offered on Moodle platform by teacher educators as well as DERT faculty members, TIET faculty members, and whose objectives or whose area of operation will be limited to, or rather extended to, not only teachers, students, even school principals, the administrators, members of managing committees. Okay, this program was basically designed to ensure that students learn from their home. So this can become an alternate, a parallel channel for education, imparting education along with the formal system. The role of principals and head teachers play a crucial role here, and training them or getting them in line at par is also very important to roll out this kind of projects at school level. Teachers play the central role here, designing the course materials, and the lesson plans that are developed. These are purely based on learning objectives. Teachers were trained in this line, which I have already mentioned during the supporting human capital development programs. Teachers were already trained how to design, how to formulate lesson plans, how to formulate unit plans on the basis of learning objectives. And the best thing is this: these are all done by teachers and uploaded to a common platform, so that these gets verified, evaluated, and these are reverted back to the teachers for further implementation. So with this, so these are the various initiatives that has come up in the state so far. I request Mrs. Lingwa to, add something else to this discussion.
Thank you. Thank you. Yes, we have heard all of the initiatives that have been taken up by the state. And while these initiatives are, of course, ambitious, like Sir Rashid said, I will agree to that. But we need to be ambitious because we need to push up our students, We need to push them up the ladder. They need to be at par with the rest of the world. And we will not be there unless we learn the digital skills, unless we upscale ourselves digitally. However, it is very sad to say that while we have all of these initiatives waiting for us, ready, we still have the problem of, connectivity. We have the problem of unavailability of gadgets for some sections of society. While all of these are impediments, we have a great hope that things will brighten up in the future. As we share all of these initiatives in schools through the various learning platforms that have been mentioned here, we hope that things will brighten up. We hope that we get to see a brighter tomorrow, a brighter future, where digital literacy is concerned, where the use of ICT is concerned, because it is something that will lift the education scenario in the state, something that will take our students here to higher levels in society.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you so much, ma'am. And like you said, that you hope in future things will be much more better, the connectivity issues and all those issues will be much more better, and things will be advanced. I'm sure it will be the case. Thank you so much for sharing all those digital initiatives you have taken, your state have taken so far. I have a few questions. We've got last 5 minutes left. So just a few questions I would like to ask you. So may I?
Yeah, please, yeah.
Okay. So in one of the slides, you've mentioned that M-led, under M-led, some courses will be offered on Moodle platform. So I would like to ask you here, those courses will be offered in English or in the regional languages of Meghalaya, maybe Khasi, Garo or any other language is there in those courses?
Okay, yes. Yeah, as I mentioned, that AMLIT is a very ambitious project of the state, which the department is working on it to develop and push it to the higher level.
Okay.
And yes, you rightly mentioned that the language barrier we are working on it to get rid of these language barriers. Initially, the resources that are being uploaded, they are in English, and slowly these will be dubbed and converted to even the regional languages like Khasi and Garo.
Okay, all right. Ma'am, you just mentioned that under the lockdown, many initiatives were taken. But during the lockdown, when we were facing the pandemic, how did the teachers manage to take those classes because of the internet connectivity in certain areas?
Yes, that is a very, very important question to ask, because, reaching out to students has been a major concern for all of the teachers in the state, considering the terrain, considering the fact that connectivity was very poor. So teachers had to go to great lengths. There was a time when in some parts of Garo Hills, teachers actually prepared material for the students, and they went right to the homes of these students. They went right to the homes of these students to deliver the lessons. They went to individual students' homes. That was what they did. Where there was any opportunity to use ICT tools, they did so. Some teachers recorded their lessons and they sent them via WhatsApp. Nowadays we have Telegram, so some teachers are using Telegram. So these are the initiatives. There are some teachers who created worksheets for their students. Parents had to come to school to collect the worksheets. Students had to complete the worksheets at home and bring them back to school to the teachers for correction.
Okay.
Teachers have been working, to bridge the gap between the child and learning. Yeah.
Okay. So, ma'am, hats off to the efforts of those teachers who managed so many things during that difficult time, and the students too participated in all their efforts. Thank you so much, ma'am. Thank you so much, sir, for making us aware of those digital initiatives your state has taken, all the efforts you have done, and the entire education faculty of Meghalaya. Thank you so much for giving us your time and giving us this information as well. Thank you.
It is a pleasure to be a part of this webinar today. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. It was really a pleasure. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you to all the viewers for watching this wonderful session. If in case you have missed it, please watch it again on ncertofficial, that is our YouTube channel. It has already been uploaded over there. Please stay here, don't go anywhere. We're coming up with another special program of ours called Sahyog, Guidance for Mental Well-Being of the Children. And the topic of discussion would be Dwelling from Melancholy to Happiness, a Path to Success. Please keep your questions ready and share them with us as soon as possible. Thank you. We'll see you soon. Thank you once again. Namaskar.